A very warm welcome to all on today's talk show. Today's talk show is being organized by District Legal Services Authority, Churachandpur, sponsored by the Manipur State Legal Services Authority under the aegis of National Legal Services Authority. Today's talk show is being organized as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. I, on behalf of the District Legal Services Authority, Churachandpur, would like to welcome Ms. Sarungbam Mangalevi, Judicial Magistrate First Class Churachandpur, for consenting on today's resource person on the topic cyber safety. A very warm welcome to you, Ms. Sarungbam Mangalevi.
Thank you very much to the District Legal Services Authority, Churachandpur. Thank you to learned Madam Pinky for hosting today's talk show. And I'm very fortunate to be a part of this awareness program on the topic cyber safety and cybercrime as a part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, which is the Pan-India awareness program. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, before coming to our today's topic, which is the cyber safety, let us first discuss about what is cybercrime, so that our today's viewer could understand very easily that what is cybercrime. So please kindly highlight on this point also.
Thank you so much for the question. So as we begin in the next 2 or 3 minutes, I would like to begin by explaining in a very general term, not going to the complexities of the definition. Cybercrime is, in a very general meaning, is any crime that is committed through the medium of internet, that is committed through the medium of cyberspace. So that particular any crime through which a computer is either a subject or an object of any crime that is committed by any individual from any territory, irrespective of any territorial boundaries, that is called as a cybercrime, as we understand in the very normal and simple parlance.
Thank you very much for highlighting what is on today's viewers what is cybercrime, so that today's viewer could understand easily. Thank you very much. Now let's come to our next question, which is I think very much important to know for the general public. Is there any types of cybercrime, and if yes, kindly highlight on that point also, so that today's viewers could understand very easily on that on a very easy term.
Yes, thank you for the question again. So this cybercrime is since because of the technological advancement across the globe from time to time, the nature and the gravity of the cybercrime has become very complex. So in general, we can identify or we can categorize the cybercrime which is committed against 3 general categories. That is the persons, individual persons, and another one is the government organizations, or maybe public sector undertakings or private sector undertakings also included, big giant corporations or companies, which includes, and the third is property. So these are the 3 kinds of major classification against whom the target of the cybercrime involves. So in order to further elaborate and give little bit of example of what kind of cybercrimes are committed against this 3 specific category. So when it comes to any kind of cybercrime that is committed against the individual, those there are a little bit of list, not a very long list, but just for highlighting, these includes cyber stalking, which is a very common because of the opening of social media accounts like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Cyber stalking is a very common offense, but hardly it's not being made a penal because this has become a very norm. And then we have impersonation. Then we have a loss of privacy. Then we have the transmission of the obscene materials. Then we have harassment with the use of computer. And now very commonly, which we can see in the Manipur, in our society as well, in our state as well, is with regard to the posting of lewd comments or posting of any very derogatory comments, that may lead to maybe causing defamation or the likes. So these were some of the instances of the cybercrime committed against the persons. Now, when we come to cybercrimes committed against the government organizations or the private sector undertakings, like the big giant corporations in India or companies, it can be some of them can be hacking of the government websites, which is very common. Then cyber extortion. Then we have cyber terrorism also. Cyber terrorism also is a very, very alarming, offense of types of cybercrime against the government, considering the fact that we have the rise of Taliban, and then we have ISIS, and we had so many terrorist attack across the globe. So cybercrime against the government in such are the illustrations. And then against property, with regard to cybercrime against property, we have so many. This is like a major concern even for the state of Manipur, because recently when I had the occasion to have a conversation with the one of the SI of the cybercrime police station in Manipur, there was a complaint about how in Manipur there's a lot of increase rise in the in the fraudulent and financial frauds which are committed via the cybercrimes. So for specifically when we talk about Manipur, cybercrime, especially categorizing with regard to financial frauds, is a very common and is a very highly rising of cybercrime in which is prevailing in Manipur. So financial frauds, then trespassing in the computers, using hacking or maybe web hijacking is a very common term that is being predominant, we can see in the latest trend. And then we can see a siphoning of funds from financial institutions, like I just said about, and individuals also. Then we have a stealing of secret information, copyright infringement. These are some categories. We have a lot of list in the different types, but these are some common cyber crimes against the property. So thank you. That's my answer for that question.
Thank you very much, Mangalidi, for highlighting on those kind of cyber crimes, types of cyber crimes that common people would easily could understand. I think today's viewer could easily understand what you have explained to us today. Next question, I would like to know that as we have come to know that what is cybercrime, then what are the types of cybercrime. Then let's come to the next question. This is, what is cybersecurity? We also heard that there is cybersecurity. What does it mean? What is cybersecurity? So kindly highlight on this point also.
Thank you. Very interesting question. We have very briefly, we have understood in a very simple term what is the meaning of cybercrime. Then we have understood what are the kinds and against whom the cybercrime is committed. Now, coming to cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is basically a digital protective measure that we, not only the organizations, but we as individuals need to adopt. This is like digital protective measures and the legal mechanisms in place from time to time. These are what constitute the cyber security. So we don't have a legit, formula or legit guidelines as to how one like individual or any organization can take measures for cybersecurity, but there are certain lists of categories which I think in the subsequent questions that I would like to elaborate more further.
Okay, thank you very much. So now let's come to the next question, which is, as we know that there is difference between cybercrime and cybersecurity. So kindly elaborate on that. What are the differences? That what is the, as we know in simple term, what is cybercrime and what is cybersecurity? So what is the difference between these two points?
Thank you for the question again. See, like we said, cybercrime involves any kind of criminal activities that is committed through the medium of computer in the cyberspace, internet, or any kind of social media forums in the cyber web page. So the difference between cybercrime and cybersecurity is that, like how I said, cybersecurity is the practice of defending computer servers, mobile devices, electronic systems, like protective measures so that we can protect any kind of attacks from unwanted malwares or viruses, or they say trojans. There are various technical terms in the computer IT language which I myself have not very fully acquainted, but some of, according to my knowledge, cybersecurity basically aims at protecting cybersecurity has different kinds, like network security. Cybersecurity itself is a very broad term, and they are like under the cybersecurity, there are various classification, and these securities include under these are the categorization, some categorization I'll be listing here. So these constitute under cybersecurity. So these include network security, these include operational security, these include end user education, these include information security, application security. There are various kind of security which forms part of the cybersecurity. So these that I have elaborated in very brief, I would like to not go one by one, but generally, like for example, we talk about operational security. So the user has to be very careful about the contents, the hardware, software devices that are being used in the computer, because sometimes people might set malware and it might get attacked and the system crashes. Then we have network security. For example, if we go in a public space, we cannot just directly connect to a open Wi-Fi which has no password, because that might make us susceptible to any kind of criminal cybercrime being committed against us. So these are some. And then we have application security, then we have information security. Information security is like, we sometimes they ask us to provide for OTP, and sometimes they ask us to upload our debit card last numbers, sometimes they ask us for sensitive information, and we, out of individual who are not aware, or we out thinking that that's genuine question that has been asked by the website as a part and procedure of serving, then we enter. And then that's how a lot of people in Manipur itself, forget about not other any parts of the country, but in Manipur itself, the police station in the Imphal West, which is specially dedicated for the cybercrime, they have already stated, as I mentioned before, that you just enter, they ask you to send only 1 rupees from your account, and then once you send it, in the next moment you know is that they have already siphoned around 10 lakhs from your bank account. And this is not a rare cases, this is something which is on the rise. So these are some kind of the cybersecurity classification that I would like to share according to my humble knowledge.
Thank you very much. So I would like to again request on today's viewers that so kindly be very precautions, be very take preventive measures while entering to any website or anything on computer or on your phone, mobile phone. Nowadays, today's is the net internet world. So I would like to request on behalf of the District Legal Services Authority Churachandpur to be very aware and to be very precaution about what you click on your mobile phone or on your laptop. Thank you very much, Manga Lady, for such a wonderful explanation. Now let's come to on today's next question. Now let's come to the today's topic, which is the cyber safety. Firstly, kindly highlight on the what is cyber safety, and is there any difference between cyber security and cyber safety?
Yes. This is, I think, this is a particular question that I would like to emphasize a bit on.
Yes.
So, the basic difference between cyber safety and cyber security. So, basically, when we talk about cyber safety, it is specially meant for people, for the individuals, for the users of the internet. And when we talk about cyber security, this is for the information that we feed to the cyber world, because we as individuals, we as operators of the individual of the internet world, we are feeding information to the cyber world. So sometimes we are very reluctant, but we are very reluctant in when we meet a stranger, we don't just say them, hi, my name is Mangalebi, and then I don't say that this is me, like that. So what happened in terms of internet world is people would like to connect, people would like to find, it's open up various opportunity, and in that process people end up feeding very sensitive information, to the extent that I become friends with someone and I think like, oh, that person is from London or maybe US, and then we end up sending our private information, confidential information, pictures and everything. So these kind of activities that we lose ourselves, our consciousness, when we enter the cyber world, which is unlike the real world. So the difference between cyber security and cyber safety would be, safety is for us, for individual. It all depends on us on how we say. It's not about the information that we feed, but more about how we behave when we enter, once we log into the cyber world. And in terms of cyber security, it has more to do with the information that we feed. Also, I would like to add one point, which I found it very kindly bear with me. Yes, so basically, cybersecurity is for protecting the information. Then for that matter, what we can do to ensure cybersecurity is that we need to update our software. For instance, in a very general term, we talk about putting antivirus. So this is a very small step. We protect ourselves and we stay cyber secure by doing small things like updating a software, or maybe keeping a very strong password, not keeping the same password for multiple accounts, or maybe trying to avoid feeding important financial banking information in various websites. Like these days we have GPay, then WhatsApp Pay, then we have so many Aadhaar, UPI, everything. So we should be very careful and just not go blindly with what the web servers are asking, or we should be very protective. This is about cybersecurity. And again, once again, with regard to cyber safety, it is regarding the safety of the people, and how people, it leaves with regard to cyber safety, it leaves people in a very vulnerable position. For example, with regard to cyber safety, we have child pornography, and we have, strangers are just exchanging their photographs, and those photographs are being morphed, and they are being converted into obscene, and the blackmailing happens. That kind it perpetrates. So safety is basically concerned with the individual, and security with the information that we feed.
Thank you very much for for differentiating in a very easy language or for today's viewers. So I think today's viewer would easily understand what is cyber safety and what is cyber security and could easily differentiate between the two. And I hope today's viewer could stay safe from the internet fraud also. Now, it is very important question why people should understand why cyber safety is very much important for individual person. So kindly highlight on this point also. It is a very important. This question is very much important, and we have known, we have just highlighted what is cyber safety and what is the difference between cyber safety and cyber security, what is cybercrime. Then why we as individual become to be safe from the cyber. So why cyber safety is very much important for an individual.
Yes, thank you for this important question. So basically, the question is the importance of cyber safety. Today, we as individuals, we are very vulnerable. We are very vulnerable, and there's a lot of flow of information. And for example, the trend of getting viral, the trend of getting trolled on internet, the trend of getting ridiculed, mocked. These are the speed at which things go about in the internet world is unbelievable. It just happens in a matter of second. You feed in one information, and that information doesn't take 2 seconds or 1 second to reach in the US or across the globe. It doesn't take 1 second to reach and spread across the country, across the entire world. So it's basically we need to remain very cyber safe, for the reason that because of the information floodgates of information, we are for example, young kids, very young kids who are just young as 10 4 or 5 years old. Even they watch all the social medias like TikTok, Instagram. They keep feeding themselves, they just lose track of the reality, and they start feeding everything very personal, which we are not expect when to even speak with a different person in strange in physical world. When we meet and we interact with different person, we don't expect to share our confidential information. But in terms of cyber world, the system and the world is in such a way that it just compels, it just makes us very vulnerable. The degree and the gravity of vulnerability that the cyber world demands and commands from us is completely very different in a higher level and comparatively to what we in reality would do. So there are some points that I would like to share with today's viewers as to how to remain a cyber safe. These are some points that I myself also need to inculcate, considering the fact that we all are on social media platforms. So these are some of the methods or some of the very simple actions that we need to follow so that we remain cyber safe and we avoid any kind of cyber crimes or cyber criminal from committing any kind of crimes against us or our brothers or sisters or anybody. So I would like to list with this one, time is short, but I would like to list a couple of what I've listed down. So basically how we can remain cyber safe is maybe we can avoid sharing our information, personal information, like address, of mobile number, personal mail ID, or any other sensitive information that relates to ourselves, because that makes us very vulnerable, and that helps the perpetrators of cybercrime, target us very easily. Then we can, we don't, we can avoid sharing our personal pictures, because like how I said, in Imphal, according to the SI, one of the SI who is manning the cybercrime unit in the Imphal West Police Station, the three types of cyber crimes are very predominant that has seen rise in Manipur, in Imphal area and around. That is the financial fraud. Second is sextortion, and number three is child pornography. So these are the three special categories that Manipur and the entire residents of Manipur needs to keep in mind. So we cannot share information in social media. So everyone, viewers who are watching today's program, if anybody, strangers or even the close ones, please try not to share your photographs, because that may land in the hands of some culprits and that might cause a big trouble. And then number three, don't accept friend requests from strangers. If you're on social media, you can please verify your friend or any colleagues who are known to you personally. Then only maybe you can accept the friend request. Then never click on suspicious links or download anything until the authentic source is not known to you. And maybe use different passwords, like I repeated again. Please use different passwords, especially for applications or websites involving payment of financial aspects. Please kindly use strong passwords. And then please be aware of security and privacy features of all the social media platforms that you are using. And these are some of the very basic things, some of the very simple things, but we often forget to use these safety measures, and we become very prone to cybercrimes. So with this, I think that would cover my question.
Thank you very much for highlighting on the points also, that is how can a person be safe online, and those are some points that one person, an individual could stay safe. And I would like to add some more, that keeping personal information personal and limited, then keeping your privacy setting on, practice safe browsing, and make sure your internet connection is secure enough. And be careful what you download. This is the most important one. Be careful what you download, and choose a strong password. This is what our expert also has given more emphasis on. So I would like to give more emphasis on this also on today's viewer, that keep changing your password so that no hackers could attack your internet system or your browsing system, so that you could stay safe from those cyber attacks or cybercrime persons. Thank you very much, Mangali, once again on behalf of the District Legal Services Authority Churachandpur, for highlighting on cybercrime and cyber safety in a very easy language, so that today's viewers could easily understand and could easily make aware themselves about what is cybercrime and what is cyber safety. I, on behalf of District Legal Services Authority, once again show my gratitude for highlighting on such a wonderful way that you have highlighted on today's program. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you, Dalsa. Thank you very much for the opportunity.